Hey guys, I'm Nashpa. Welcome back to my channel, and if all goes well, this will be a weekend reading vlog. Right now it's Friday, October something. Like, I know it's Friday, but I don't know what date it is. And I haven't finished a book in about 2.5 weeks, which is a record for me because I really like reading. This is a booktube channel, that's why you're here. But I haven't been able to focus on anything, and part of it is seasonal slump, like the seasonal slump that comes through every now and then. And part of it is me being distracted with trying to look for a new job, right? So there's been so much going on that I haven't been able to focus on reading at all. And in this weekend, I decided that I would make an active effort to focus on reading, even though I don't feel like, but that's how you break out of a slump. You try to read more books. So currently I am in between these two books. This is the autobiography of Malcolm X. This was for a buddy read that ended last Sunday, and I kept up with it really well for the first 4 weeks, and on the last week I sort of fell into a slump and faltered. So my reading group has finished it, and there are about 100 messages in my Voxer reading group that I have to catch up to. So I'm close to the end. I'm about 60 pages. I'm on 438 and this book is like 500 pages. So I'm 60 pages from the end, and I'm really hoping that I'm able to finish it over the course of the next 2 days. And the next book is Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. This is for Victober. And I'm listening to the audiobook, but I'm marking my progress on the physical book as we go along. And right now, according to this, I'm on page 140, which is about 12 chapters and maybe a quarter of the way through. So my goal for this weekend is to finish the Malcolm X book and maybe reach halfway into Jane Eyre, and possibly, hopefully, start another physical Pakistani book. There's one that I have, it's called Daddy's Boy by Shandana Minhas, and it's due on the 25th of October. So I feel like I have plenty of time to read it. I just should be able to focus. So that's the plan for the weekend, and whatever I do, which is not much, I'll take you along with me and we'll see how this goes. Okay, so this is an update right now. It's 11:30 at night on Saturday, and I last gave you the introduction and update, which was around Friday afternoon. So it's been a day and a half. And the question is that, have I read anything? And luckily the answer is yes, but not as much as I'd like to. I just caught up doing other things. I went to get a haircut, then I went for lunch with my family today, and it's just been a lot of things that I'm doing to actively avoid reading. So I did make progress, so I'm gonna give myself some credit for that. I was previously on chapter 12, page 140 of Jane Eyre, and since then I have listened to this chunk, which is around, I'm now on 172 of Jane Eyre, which is chapter 15. And right now, where the book is at is Mr. Rochester has been introduced, and I honestly don't know much about Jane Eyre. This is the first time that I'm reading it in its full form. I might have read an abridged version at some point in my life, but I don't remember much. I've seen a lot of memes about this book, about someone's wife being locked in an attic, and I'm really looking forward to that part, as weird as it may sound. So I did read about, 32 pages of Jane Eyre. I'm going to give myself that credit. And then I did make a little more progress on the autobiography of Malcolm X as told by Alex Haley. Previously on page 438, now I'm on 466. So I feel like that's also around 30 pages. And I'm about 35 pages from the end, and part of me just wants to sit down and just finish it, but the other part of me, which is completely in a slump, is like, just take your time with it. So tonight before I go to bed, it's already 11:30, I'll probably be up for another hour. I will definitely try to read a little more of the Malcolm X books because I really want to finish it by tomorrow. So those are my post-its falling out. So let's hope for the best, and I'll keep you guys posted. So it's time for an update. It's about 9:30 at night on Sunday, and I don't film during the day anymore because we have construction going on upstairs. So unless it's like a specific time, then I film. Every time I cut my hair, I hate how it looks, because for the first month at least, because it's short and fuzzy and I don't know what to do with it. And one of my friends recently gave me feedback on my videos that I shouldn't look at the viewfinder, I should look at the lens right on. and I find that really uncomfortable, but I'm going to try to do it now. So anyway, I finished the autobiography of Malcolm X. This took me about 6 weeks to finish. It was a buddy read. Most of my group finished it last week, and I have about a bunch of messages to check and listen to, and discussions and things like that. So for me, looking at the lens is uncomfortable. I'm going to continue looking at that until I can figure this out. But I really enjoyed this book for the most part because it's about Malcolm X. He was a member of the Nation of Islam back in the 1950s and 60s, but then he broke off and made his own organization. He is an iconic figure in American politics, and he took a firm stand against racism. And some of his speeches are the most dynamic speeches that I've heard, because I've been obviously looking it up on YouTube and watching documentaries on Netflix. But for me, this book is a 3.5 stars, not even a 4. That's because a lot of the times it meandered a lot. There were so many details that could have been taken out because it felt repetitive, and there was a time when it focuses on his early life, and those chapters keep going on and on and on, and I was just waiting for them to be over so we get more insight into his political life, because that's what I was interested in. So that took away some of the value for me. I also found his views on women to be kind of problematic, because the misogyny is just there. Like, he makes statements like a country's collective morality is measured by how their women dress, and it's not just like one instance. Like, throughout the buddy read, we were just talking about how some of these comments are quite misogynistic, and I feel like had Malcolm X lived, because he was assassinated at the age of 40, he might have changed some of his views on women, because I feel like, you know, he was progressive, he could have done that. But that was one of the things that was very jarring for me while I was reading it. But despite that, this is a very interesting book about the political culture of America back in the 50s and 60s, the racism, the use of the N-word that is so casually there, and everybody said it to him at random points in his life, and just his journey is quite inspiring. He went from being a criminal to being Malcolm X, and someone who actively took a firm stand against racism. So for me, this reading experience was definitely enriched by the group discussions, because we talked about everything under the sun that was possibly related to not only Malcolm X but the history of racism. We talked about the different practices of the Nation of Islam, and then we compared it to some of the aspects of Orthodox Islam. So I really enjoyed this book overall. I gave it 4 stars because the book for me is 3.5 stars, but the discussion added so much to it. So it's 9:30, it's still quite early, and I'll probably be up for another 2.5 hours. I have a bunch of tidying up to do. I don't want to show you because it's kind of messy, but I will definitely be listening to Jane Eyre. I haven't made much progress on that, and my goal was to start another physical book, but as long as I can get like 2 things checked off and break myself out of a slump, I will consider this weekend a win. So I'm going to continue listening to Jane Eyre, and if I have another update to share, then I will. But I will definitely wrap this video up on Monday morning and post it then. So I guess I'll see you again at some point in this video. Okay, so there's construction going on in our house. I'll try to make this very quick. Remember when I said that I will read Jane Eyre because I have cleaning up to do, and then I'll report back. Last night I did not read Jane Eyre, and I didn't start another book, but my success of the weekend is determined by the fact that I finished the autobiography of Malcolm X, which is lying exactly where I left it last night. I did not do any tidying up. Let me just give you a quick glance of everything that's just like lying. The noise will continue. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.